So, with Parkrun celebrating its 1 millionth event this weekend, it's time for another Parkrun Showdown. And this weekend, we are at Royal Tunbridge Wells. The Power of 10 website gave this a 4.4, so I'm expecting a slightly challenging course, and I've also heard mentions about a Heartbreak Hill. Hopefully not as bad as it sounds. We'll find out. During this time of year, we will be doing the summer course, which is a couple of laps around the lower field and the lake, and it's about 50-50 off-road and on tarmac. Hopefully we're going to be taking it a little bit easier today. Well, that's the plan, as we've got the Heathfield 10k Midsummer run tomorrow. But as you know, the ego might kick in. I might just pick up some pace and go for it anyway. But let's see. The weather's really good for it. Let's go! And they're off! After a director's chat where we ended up telling the person next to us they were 1 in a million, we start a rather steep descent down towards the boating lake. This was also the first time I've ever seen a starting funnel at a park run. It's mainly there to stop incidents is happening down this first hill, which you can see is already around a -13 decline. And in typical fashion, I think I have started a bit too far at the back, so let's see if we can do some weaving and try not to fall into the lake. Oh, squat jogs anyone? 370 metres in or so, and we're still fairly congested and coming over this small bridge. A lovely choke point for the masses of runners coming through. But we get through okay and head out onto the event field used during the summer route. I'm not sure how the winter route differs, as I can't really find the info anywhere, so we'll just have to come back later in the year and find out. Slowing down ever so slightly for the incline up this one side of the event field, and the path is still a little narrow. I am running off on the grass at the moment as I have my trail shoes on and find it a little bit easier there than on the tarmac. Here we go, it's opened up a little bit now. Now we can pick up that pace. Talking of pace, the fastest time for this course is around 15 minutes and 38 seconds, which is rapid, and the average finish time is 29 minutes and 59 seconds. Lovely little splashdown, probably really good after some rain, I bet. And that kid in the buggy next to us sounds like they enjoyed it too. Right, and now straight into another incline. And that's 1 kilometre done, and it was a 4:52 minutes. Not too bad seeing the congestion and the undulation of the course so far. The heart rate is looking good and the pace is steady on this 2% incline. Let's see how the other half of the course goes so we know what we are dealing with. Coming back down the other side of the event field, and we encounter a few more muddy patches. I'm very glad I have my trail shoes on, otherwise I would be slipping about everywhere. But instead I can plough on through. That pace is looking excellent now as well, around the 4:30 mark. Still on a downhill trend, and it's given the heart rate a chance to drop back below 170 while keeping that pace sharp. There are a couple of holes created by those pesky wabbits that have been marked by cones, so I just need to be very careful to dodge those and not break my ankle. After some more and even steeper downhill slopes, and we are in good shape. We are also back out down by the pond. When I got here, I kid you not, there was around 40 odd geese all by the path, and I was thinking, uh-oh, this could be fun. But luckily, by the time we got down there, they'd all been moved on. Maybe for the best, but I reckon it probably made a bit of an entertaining start to the run as we all ploughed on through being chased by geese. Right, so that's 2 kilometres done, and it was a 4:46. 6 seconds quicker than the previous kilometre. I was expecting more, to be honest, seeing as a good chunk of that was downhill. But hey ho, let's see how the next kilometre goes. As we follow Spider-Man round the corner and we see this fancy fountain, we reach this lovely downhill section just to help build some momentum for the hill ahead. This is the start of Heartbreak Hill, I think, and it's going to get steep. Just watch that slopometer go. Well, that's the first climb of Heartbreak Hill done. We now head back down the hill for round 2. I'm unsure why it's called Heartbreak Hill, to be honest. Maybe because of how it can end your personal best attempts, or maybe because of how much it shoots your heart rate up. I know I was in the 180s at one point when I climbed it. By the way, if you are enjoying the video, please drop a subscribe. I would massively appreciate it. I really want to try and hit 500 by the end of the year. And you, yes, you could be the difference between hitting that target or not. So go on, do it. Shooting back along the pond again and coming back to the bridge, I did notice that there was plenty of boats and pedlos for hire. Maybe next time I'm here I'll give those a go. My pace has dropped to around 5.5 minutes per kilometre, probably in anticipation of crossing this narrow section. Let's navigate it and just get back up to speed.
Thank you, Marshall.
There we go, much better, Tom. And passing the 3 kilometre mark, it was a 5:04. That's a whole 18 seconds slower than the last kilometre. Wow, that hill must have obviously taken it out of me over that previous kilometre. It's not going to be much better over the next few hundred metres or so, as we have this slight incline up the event field to contend with. Back at the very welcome respite halfway up the climb around the event fields, and the pace is starting to pick up again through the splashdown, and the heart rate has calmed ever so slightly too. As I mentioned earlier, the weekend I recorded this was also Parkrun's 1 millionth event. Over the 22 years, it's gathered over 12 million registrations and has more than 2,800 events each week in 23 countries. From 18 people turning up at Bushy Park in 2004 to what it is now is an amazing achievement. Here's to the next 1 million events. A big chunk of the uphill climbing done. Now I can cruise along and prepare myself for one more climb up Heartbreak Hill. But even so, my pace has dropped off dramatically in the 5:10s. It's flat now, Tom, come on. Let's bring that heart rate down and power to the finish. I'm obviously not listening, as that pace is still very similar. It'll be interesting to see how this kilometre's time is going to turn out. One benefit is the heart rate has dropped again, which is good to see. As a heads up, before I do the parkrun scores later, I have made a slight change. Where a course has a summer and a winter route, I will now be putting down the average time on there to save some space once I've done both of them. Four kilometres down, 1 to go, and it was a 5-minute 12. That's 2 seconds even slower than the last. I really need to utilise the downhill sections coming up to speed up my overall time, as this will not do. Here we go, this is looking better. I'm back in the 4 minute per kilometres again. And the heart rate is staying low. And while we're at it, I think it's time we went through some Parkrun Showdown scores. For scenery, I gave it an 8.5. There's a big old lake filled with plenty of ducks and geese and goslings, and a nice big event field to run round. For difficulty, or PV ability, I gave it a 6. It is undulating in parts, especially with Heartbreak Hill at the end. The ground is fairly solid and steady underfoot, with a few uneven spots in the field. For route layout, I gave it a 6.5. It is 2 laps round, but not quite in a linear circle, which just makes it that ever so slightly more entertaining. For facilities, I gave it an 8.5. There is parking on site. You do pay, but it is very, very cheap, around £1.10 an hour. There is also a cafe and toilets right by the start and finish. So that gives Royal Tunbridge Wells a score of 29.5, or a 73.8%. A very solid score for a parkrun. So that score of 29.5 puts Royal Tunbridge Wells straight into second place, alongside Lancing Beach Green, Kingdom and Bedgebury Pineton. Wakehurst still sits on the top with a score of 31, and Abbotswood brings up third place with a score of 29. Where should I go next? Recommend me some parkrunners near you, and you never know, it might go straight on top of this podium. It's up Heartbreak Hill to the finish now, and it sounds like someone is giving a fair bit of encouragement to someone. It turns out it was a man and his dog pushing on the final 300 metres, but I'm going to imagine he's talking to me to help myself push on. The finish line is in sight, and even with that stonker of a hill, the pace is holding very well. That heart rate has shot up though. Go on, Tom! The man's still encouraging his dog, and they're getting close. One final push over the crest of the hill, which is 11% by the way, and it's across the line. And the last kilometre was a 4 minute 45. 27 seconds faster than the previous kilometre, even with that hill. Thank you, that man and his dog. And that's the face of a man who has had a very mixed result run. Not sure whether he's performed well or not, but we shall see. Woo! What a run! That was a very scenic, very nice course. I really enjoyed that. The views were brilliant. I got to see the dokies and I got to see the geese as well. So it was a nice mixture of lake and pond, and wasn't too bad on the hill front until the very end. That was very, very mean putting that hill in at the end. But luckily the guy with the dog managed to help egg me on up the hill, even though he was only talking to the dog. But hey ho. So it's time for the results. The results will be coming from, I don't know. They'll be coming from somewhere. There maybe. So, overall we achieved a time of 24 minutes and 40 seconds, with an average of around 4 minute 56 per kilometre. Out of 319 people, we came 53rd, and with my age bracket of senior male, I came 3rd, with an age grade of 52.57%. Not a bad day out, I think. Well, that's it from Royal Tunbridge Wells. I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, please drop a subscribe. You know I'm trying to hit that target of 500 by the end of the year, and I need your help. And while you're at it, check out one of his other videos on screen now, and I'll catch you in that video. Cheers. Bye.